Hey there, Bear Club! At the Mama Bear Initiative, we explore how to protect ourselves so we can protect our cubs, the people who depend on us. Join us and get the confidence you need to stay safe, make good choices, and protect yourself and those you care about. Let's go!
Hello, and welcome back to the Mama Bear Initiative podcast. I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
I'm also known as Weirdo.
And I'm known as
Header.
Bun.
Yeah, I didn't name myself. That was your two's fault. I think Rochelle named Evelyn.
Oh, yes.
And I named Rochelle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she's so cute and sweet and it reminds us of a bunny.
Little bun.
I do this. I used to do this when I walk down the steps or anytime I...
Yeah, it was the hand. It was always the hand. It was doing
Curled.
this.
It's like a balance thing.
It's like a little bunny rabbit.
I don't do it as much anymore, but yeah, definitely I've done that in the past.
Yeah, and I think Evelyn added the Chan.
Bun Chan.
Was that you, Evelyn?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't
So-
remember now.
The funniest one was Evelyn's original name was Fufuhead, and then because she likes to speak German,
Ach
I
ja.
changed it to Fuffenheader.
Ach ja.
Which is even
the
funnier.
Foof.
And the curly
The
hair.
Foof on the head, ja. Es ist
Yeah.
sehr foofy.
Is that real German?
Ach ja.
Ach ja.
Oh, yeah.
Ach ja. That means, oh yes. Natürlich. Naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Naturally
Eh.
curly. Anyway.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, so welcome to Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rochelle and I had my husband Rochelle and I had an Asian-y dinner because after my therapy appointment this morning, I went over to this new-ish, it's been there a little while, Asian market near where I was. And it's the old Toys R Us.
Oh.
As if our listeners know what that is.
Massive. Like
Yeah.
everything you could possibly want in an Asian grocery and more.
Wow.
They
That's
had
awesome.
everything,
Everything.
Everything, apparently.
including. Okay, so here's a problem. When I was hosting students from University of Delaware, foreign students, we had a Taiwanese girl who liked to cook.
Mhm.
She taught me several things. She introduced me to this roasting powder. It's called New Orleans roasting powder. It's very, very famous in China and Japan,
Mhm.
and I guess Taiwan, because that's where she's from.
And New Orleans?
No,
Huh.
it has nothing to do. And you put it on wings, and it's very. If it's not the spicy one, it's very savory and a little bit sweet.
Mm.
It's just so delicious. Now, here's the
Mhm.
problem. It's really hard to find this powder. Like at the previous Asian grocery I was going to, a little closer to me, they had it, but it was a different brand.
Mm.
They had the one that I bought today, prior, but then they had this other brand that was this little bear. I don't know what it was. I accidentally bought the spicy version of the bear kind once. My husband sprinkles a tiny bit of it on his food. It's just way too hot for wings. Well, today I'm looking for the same thing because I was inspired. I'm going to make wings. Who knows what else I can find. And I used my Google Translate to translate the packet because it looked familiar.
Yeah.
But there were several packets in a row, the same exact color. So I assumed,
Uh-oh.
and the one that I scanned said it was mildly spicy.
Mhm.
I assumed the rest of the purple ones were mildly spicy, and I just grabbed.
Mm.
Well,
Oh, just a moment. I would like to interject. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what they say about assuming. Okay, Steph, please continue.
well, I feel like an as. because Rochelle's like, this is spicy. I'm like, spicy? What are you talking about? Spicy? And then I started, the first one I had wasn't too bad. I must have gotten like the mildly spicy one and then accidentally got a much spicier one. Because the second wing I had was like, my mouth hurts. Quick, get me some milk.
Your
My
mouth
tongue
was
is
on fire.
Mhm.
Literally.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway.
A little
so
flames coming out.
we had bao, we had gyoza, we had
Miso soup, which is very
miso
good.
soup.
Yuso soup.
No,
No.
I'm not soup. I also had a little
Miso
natto.
soup.
I also had a little natto.
Oh, that
Soybean stuff that people
Soybean.
hate.
looks like snot and worms or something.
No. Oh God, don't go there with the worms. No.
Don't take her things she loves away from her by making it gross.
Gross, sir. I love natto. It's very delicious to me.
You bought it at the grocery store?
Oh God,
God.
that was terrible,
You
Evelyn.
can call me Evelyn.
I'll see myself out. Okay?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
sabotaged your story.
I miscalculated the timing of it. I started at like 5 o'clock. Wanted it to be done by 6, but then I was still scooping New Orleans powder on the wings for half an hour. So they didn't get in until 5:30, which meant they weren't done until 6:15. And we're trying to eat all this food, and Rochelle's like, it's 6:35. And I'm like, while my mouth is on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, I think my son will enjoy these later because they're pretty spicy. I'll pay better attention next time.
Indeed. No more assuming.
The face. The face.
Capsaicin, though. Capsaicin's good for you.
It cleared out my sinuses.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've been having trouble since we were sick for 10 weeks straight.
Mm.
Not 10 weeks straight, but we were sick
I was
4
gonna say.
times in 10 weeks. And
Okay,
2 of
yeah.
those times was the flu, 2
Mhm.
different kinds of flu. And my sinuses have been
Kind of
not
yucky.
great. Yeah. I keep like trying to blow my nose and nothing's coming out. And I'm like, I know there's something in there. I ended up going and getting some baby saline spray to help.
For baby salines.
Baby salines.
Aw.
Oh my gosh. So cute. Little baby salines.
Oh, like a baby.
Oh my.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. So anyway, that was our evening. My day was very weird, but it was good. I think it was good. I met my therapist at his new office, and it's a little bit austere.
Mm.
He's sharing it with someone after I was done talking about all my problems. I'm like, and yeah, so here we are. I don't know if I guess I'll get used to this. It's just that your personality is not here. And he goes, yeah, I know. I don't know if I can put pictures of my dogs up there or not. How was your guys' day?
Mine was very busy at work as usual. Tiring, but felt good to do something different. So I enjoyed that at least.
Those
It had-
those Wawa customers, man.
And we've been super busy lately. Like it's warmer now in the stores because we're doing more promotions, and yeah, it's a little crazy right now. So
People coming out of hibernation, stumbling
Mhm.
into the Wawa for their coffee and goodies.
I feel like in this area, I know that there's the Royal Farms and there's
Mhm.
is there Sheets anywhere nearby?
there's one in Elkton. One.
Okay.
Hmm.
I still feel like people are a little bit fanatical about their Wawa.
Oh yeah, not a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. Not a little bit fanatical.
Oh,
We have people
Yeah.
from like West Virginia and like other places. I talked to somebody from West Virginia who doesn't have Wawa near them. They're like, I used to live here and I miss Wawa so much. I hear that all the time.
mhm.
Yeah, I know people who move away and then they come back and are like, did you go to Wawa?
Yeah.
Did you get a hoagie? Have some coffee?
And I guess they talk like that.
Well, of
Apparently.
course. Of course.
Yeah, I have a friend who used to live almost within walking distance
Wow.
of the Wawa off of Marrows Road, like you guys know where that is, or like
Mhm.
or yeah, people do.
We do.
And she moved out to Colorado, She goes, there's Starbucks everywhere, but no Wawa. She says she says, I love the mountains. It's beautiful out here, but I miss Wawa.
So funny.
Wawa.
It's so funny how people miss things like that.
Yeah.
So if I get a chance to fly out there, I'm going to bring her a bag of Wawa coffee.
Yeah, Evelyn, how was your day?
Well, it started off a little rough. I got a little overwhelmed by the amount of work I had to do. Plus, I hadn't been sleeping very well. Last few nights. So I walk into work and I was out on Friday, so I had Friday's work. And then all this stuff that was coming in, and at first I just see this pile of work and I'm like, how am I going to get all this done?
Now, when we're saying pile of work, we're talking about digital.
Oh yes, digital. So I'm a content editor.
Pile.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was
just like this.
I was printing things out though, because while I'm doing my editing, I kind of have to see it on the printed page. I found out that the eye actually perceives pixels differently. Like it accesses a different part of the brain than just reading it, say, printed on a piece of paper. So I find that having both is helpful.
So you have a pile of pixels.
I had a pile of pixels on the screen, and then I made some copies. So with some of them I could look at. So I had literal and pixel piles.
Pixel piles.
Paper piles and pixel piles. But here's the cool thing. So one of my coworkers was like, I need to get in at least 8,000 steps today. Who wants to go for a walk with me at lunchtime? And I'm like, sign me up. So a bunch of us went out into the gardens. Now I work at Winter Tour Museum, Garden and Library in Wilmington, Delaware. Please come. And we're starting to go into our most beautiful time of year, which is spring. So got to see flowering magnolias and winter hazel and all sorts of flowers. And it was great. And the lady who was leading the pack was like, okay, guys, I feel refreshed and ready to go back to work. And the rest of us are kind of like, I want to go back in. Can we stay out here a little longer?
Yeah. It is unseasonably warm and humid today.
Yep.
And there was a coating of yellow pollen on places today. And I was like, what?
Yeah, there was a coating on my car. I was like, ugh.
Not yet. I'm not ready.
It is supposed to thunderstorm tonight, and it's supposed to be cold tomorrow. So
by the way, Bun Bun, aka Rochelle, is kind of like our resident weather person. So
I do like to track the weather.
The self-declared weather person.
Self-declared, yes.
We don't have a choice.
We don't. If you mention the weather, her eyes light up. She's like, and this, and then this is supposed to happen. A low of this and a high of that.
Not quite that detailed, but I do like tracking the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I always
haven't been on the receiving end.
Brother. Yeah. It's really good. I think, despite the unasked for information, it's really good when we have somewhere to go to know what the weather is.
That's true.
If we're going to go together somewhere, it's nice to know.
Yes.
Especially if we're going to be outside, it helps to know if it's going to rain. It's good to have a weather person in your group.
Yeah. And she'll even say, by this time of day, it should be about like this. And,
Yeah. Yeah. So I always appreciate it. We don't go out too often as a group, at least not at night. I mean, we go places together pretty frequently, actually. Actually, that's not true. We do go out together at night once a week.
Mm-hmm. To North Wilmington.
To our ninja class.
That's true.
But
why would we tell them that?
But yeah, we don't often go out together at night to restaurants or do anything like that. But because we're old.
We're old.
We're not exactly painting the town red, but we are painting our lips bright colors.
Yes, we are.
Anyway.
We're painting the town light pink.
Light pink.
Light pink?
I don't know.
I'm getting home relatively early.
Early and in bed on time. That's painting the town light pink.
Yeah. So when we go out, something that I go out with my husband more often than I'd go out with anybody else. And we're two firstborns. We're both trying to be in charge, which actually is kind of nice sometimes because, I'm a martial artist. So I'm always teaching people, pay attention to your surroundings, look around, smell the environment, that kind of thing.
Scan.
If you take a self-defense class with me, that's probably the first thing I'm going to tell you, other than your posture. Like, that's the first thing I tell people. And then I'm like, and pay attention to your surroundings.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice, because when I'm out with my husband, since he's kind of a bossy firstborn, I can sort of like relax a little bit and not have to pay super close attention to my environment, because I know he probably is.
Yeah. He is really protective, I think, in general.
Yeah, he is. Overall, I'd say he's very protective, which I'm thankful for too.
Yeah, me too. He's my big bro.
Yeah, when we were getting ready to go to Africa for a couple weeks on a missions trip, the women and the men, for whatever reason, met separately to discuss problems we might have, I guess. It was so long ago. It was like 20 years ago, 20-something years ago. Anyways, we're sitting I'm sitting in this room with these women that are all going to Africa, and they're like, and we have to be sure to tell the men that they have to watch out for us. And I'm like, do you know my husband? If you're with Fran, he will be watching out for you.
That just automatically kicks in.
It naturally does that.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that. And, I'm always watching out for myself anyway when I'm out. But, like, if we all three decided to go out to dinner, for example, being as that we're all trained in the arts of fighting, excuse me, I'm sure that we would all be kind of going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe not as obviously.
No, you gotta be sort of subtle. The corner of the eyes, who's that over there? Okay. Who's here? Where are the exits? That kind of thing, without being too
looking
obvious
with your peripherals.
Staring.
How do you say that word? Peripherals?
Peripheral. Or using your peripheral vision.
Yeah, that's
giving people the side eye.
Ooh. The side squint.
Steph is especially good at that. Having been on the receiving end of the side eye.
Yeah, me too. Many times.
It's generally happening because somebody's saying something super goofy.
Somebody's saying something super goofy? What?
I in my family group, I, for whatever reason, am the straight man.
Straight woman, but yes.
No, I'm the straight man. And the comedy duo of life.
It's a comedy
between Evelyn and Fran and Rochelle and Steven. I am constantly going, what the heck are you talking about?
And we live for, see that face? That makes it all worth. Oh, look at that. And then you get the rolled eyes.
Yes, it makes it all worth it.
Oh, yes.
The slightly annoyed, bossy big sister look is the ultimate.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so, I feel like, I really want to be able to relax sometimes and not be on edge all the time when I'm out with people, but sometimes I feel like I have to be the only one watching.
Yeah.
I feel like the only one who knows.
Yeah, I know what you mean. About a year ago, I went out to dinner with a bunch of ladies. We were doing this little pre-wedding thing for my nephew's fiance. And when I realized that I was the only one with training there, I kind of had this protective feeling over the rest of the group. So I thought, ooh, and instead of feeling like, oh, I have to do this thing, it was more like, ooh, I could help protect them. So, sitting where I could see the door, being aware of the other diners and everything. And it's not like I was like hyper vigilant, but it was an opportunity to kind of be on the lookout and, and also, like we talked about where people were parked, because we had to park on the street. It was, down a street where there wasn't, any place to park.
Oh,
except,
really?
Except on the street, rather. There wasn't like a parking lot. It was in Kennett Square.
Oh,
And so we also kind of made sure, like, I also kind of made sure, where you parked and kind of watched them go to their cars and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know I was doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I've noticed that if I'm out somewhere, people don't really pay attention too much to their environment. I watch these girls walk down the street and just aren't even aware of what's happening. And I felt the same thing, like, protective of them. It wasn't super late in the evening, but it was late enough where it was getting to be dusk. And, like, I stopped at a fast food place or something like that. And they were just kind of walking down the street. And I'm like, they don't even realize what they're doing. But I had to watch them as long as I could do it until they disappeared around the corner. But, like, you just never know.
I worry about the kids in this town. Like,
Me too.
Okay, this must be my mama bear instinct because I'm 50 something, and anybody under 25 at this point feels like a baby.
They're children.
They're babies. They need their diapers changed or something.
Something.
Anyway, yeah. So we're constantly. So we're like the reverse resort town.
Mm-hmm.
We get 3 months out of the year that they're not here.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the year, the other 9 months, they're here.
They're here.
Yeah.
And they're
Little
everywhere.
college town.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. Like, everywhere I go in town, there's people running across the street and on the corners and this, that, and the other thing. And it's
Not
just
paying
like,
attention.
And they're out at night, especially Friday and Saturday night, just roaming the streets. And I worry when I'm out at night and I see them walking around. I'm like, I just want to wrap you up
And keep you safe.
and keep you safe and keep you from your fun, whatever that is.
Yes.
Yeah. I
But
noticed. Yeah.
I was going to say, but at least a lot of times they're in groups. So
That's what I was
true.
thinking. I mean, I do feel encouraged by that. But even so, there's just this like lack of awareness that it's dark, that, danger could be lurking about. It's just this perception of I'm safe, I'm good. I don't have to worry about anything, which would be great if it was true.
Well, yeah, it would be great if it was true. And our university is known as a party university, party school. So there's lots of alcohol and probably marijuana going on, whatever else they get themselves into. So a lot of times they're just drunk or high.
Yeah.
And again, I want to put them in my pocket. It's like, no.
Yes. I want to
keep them safe forever.
I feel a little more aggressive, like knock the liquor out of their hands and flick that joint away. Come on, honey. You deserve better.
Yeah,
you deserve better.
No, I get that. I get that. But I guess I'm just more worried that, because there's so many problems with partying in colleges, and the university police must be ridiculously busy with
I would imagine.
crime. And most of it is, stuff like rape. Oh, did I say that out loud? I have to beep that essay. Or assault, or other kinds of assault, fighting.
Yeah.
You're drunk, you're being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably gonna fight somebody. Yeah,
I mean, they get
Just so much.
compromised. And that's another thing too. Like, I know a lot of people talk about you need to designate a designated driver, that sort of thing.
Designated lookout person too. Can't hurt.
Yeah.
It's hard to have a designated driver when you're roaming the streets of Newark, Delaware, though.
Yeah.
A
And not driving.
designated
Lookout.
bossy firstborn.
That would work.
Make sure you have a bossy firstborn in your group to tell you what to do
Yes.
and where to go,
Or if
and that you're doing it wrong.
yes. Now they don't. They don't have to literally be a firstborn, as long as they know how to be firstborny.
Oh, they just have to be bossy
Oh yeah.
and think they're right about everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I especially in my younger years, for whatever reason, used to hang out with a lot of middle and youngest. So, and I'm a youngest, so
Well, there you go.
somebody had to be the more serious one.
I think firstborns walk by each other and just sort of That's it.
They just know. Just
We
know
just
they're
know.
firstborns.
Yeah, I have a radar for the youngest as well. I'll be like,
I have a
My people. My people.
radar for those middle kids. Are just sitting there watching everybody else do crazy stuff and just laughing.
they're judging.
Is that you in this scenario, Rochelle?
Yep.
Here and there. Laughing. I do notice Rochelle is often, she'll like look at us like we're nuts and kind of laugh at us while we're
Well, yeah.
Fruit Looping it up. But as
Which
long
we
as
do
somebody
quite
is,
often.
you know, that's true. As long as somebody in the group is being the lookout, so to speak.
Yes.
Or more
Yeah.
than one. Or you
Now
can even
that's
make
a
it
good
a game.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. Have someone who's kind of the designated lookout while you're walking around.
Mhm.
They're in charge of everyone's safety. That's a good idea. I
Yeah.
like it.
I like it.
Doesn't
too.
have to be someone who's bossy, but at least aware of what's going on around them, because you just never
Yeah.
know.
And decide in advance, you know, we even if we don't normally listen to, you know, that gal, we're going to listen to her because
That gal.
she's looking out for us.
I'm just thinking as a firstborn, like if I had to wrangle a bunch of drunk teen girls, I need a lasso, number one.
Mhm.
A lasso.
Yeehaw.
I can, and
Do you have some sort of martial arts tool for that? You could stick in your purse.
maybe,
She's
but
gonna
why
think
would I
about
tell you
this.
that?
Oh, how about a scarf? Anyway,
I didn't say a scarf. You said a scarf, so we'll
I
let
did.
our audience decide what self-defense weapon you're referring to.
But yeah, be prepared to, you know, look out and then have a plan. Maybe like if we see something, maybe like, I don't know, some kind of code word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or be
something.
prepared to call 911 because my phone has this thing. This is the button. I've accidentally called 911.
Mhm.
I'm trying to turn the volume up or down on my phone, but I got the wrong side and I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Next thing I know, oh my God, it's calling emergency services.
It's like, hurry up, stop.
But what if I was in a situation, I had it in my pocket and I knew exactly how to do that, and I just would be like beep 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 beep, and it calls
Mm-hmm.
because it automatically calls. It doesn't wait for you to like. You have like 5 seconds to stop it before it calls EMS, emergency services. But you know, be prepared to call 911 if you have to. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what if everybody just kept their phones handy just to be on the safe side?
I mean, most people
even
do.
the drunk ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the ones walking around looking at their phones when they're walking around, especially them.
Oh yes, please stop doing. Please stop
don't.
doing
Please don't.
that.
Yes, please
It's
stop
like-
doing
stop
that.
it.
It's like putting a big target on your head.
Just put
Yes.
it away. I mean, what? Why do you have to be on your phone every second of every day?
Right.
I know. I'm talking to Generation Z, but gee whiz, people.
Well,
Yeah. safe.
seriously.
to be
Be safe
honest,
out
you're
there.
also talking to Generation Me. So I actually caught myself. So I worked at Winter Tour and I was taking a little break to sit in one of our little gardens. And here I am surrounded by beauty emerging in the spring. And I'm all like on my phone. And I went, look around, be here, you know? And then it was kind of fun because I could catch myself and go, put the phone down. Not that I'm going to, put it where I can't grab it. Because, I mean, even in a lovely garden, anything can happen. So then it becomes sort of a game. Like, okay, I'm going to pay attention. I took note of a guy on his phone over there. And everything smelled and sounded pretty much normal. And then I relaxed.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what we're talking about doesn't have to apply just to people being out in groups. You could do it for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. And really should more so for yourself.
Also,
Yeah.
good job parenting yourself, Evelyn.
oh, yeah, golly, I have to. Because I catch my son. Like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. In fact, here's a funny thing. And when we pick on Gen Z, my boy, my youngest, my baby, he's almost 20. And he'll say, Mom. Like, we'll be at the dinner table or something. I'll be looking at him, Mom. Oh,
He's calling you out.
We call it geeking. If you're on your phone, it's called geeking. We have a no geeking rule at the table.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we put our phones aside and we just eat food. Like
Yeah, I mean,
normal people.
I don't even take mine to the phone anymore. We've been actually reading at the table.
You don't
You
take
don't-
yours
you don't
to the
take-
phone?
You know,
No,
take
to
yours
the table,
phone.
to the table. And I also notice, like, something
To
my
the
son
phone.
to the phone. It's like we have this red phone in the corner.
Hey.
It's our emergency. Whoa!
Hey.
Call 911 on the red phone.
Mhm.
But no, I just being where you are, I think, is just better overall, because now you can be listening, smelling, experiencing
Yes.
this world instead of escaping into another one.
Yeah.
Agree.
So yeah, it's fun to do that. And it's also, I don't know, I mean, you was talking about like self-parenting. I don't know, this might sound a little weird, but I kind of like catching myself and then doing the right thing.
Mm.
Like,
Mhm.
hey, like today, and being in the garden and then practicing. I mean, it's kind of fun to just practice being aware
Yeah.
and, just looking around. And that way, if I ever am in a situation, I'm already kind of in that mode where I'm already sort of noticing. And I'll be like, what's burning? I've experienced that at restaurants where I'll just be, just kind of in the moment and enjoy something. All of a sudden, is there a fire? Where's the exit?
I mean, that's valid because you never know what could happen. We had a fire, it was like last year, around this time, maybe like May last year. We had a fire in our store and somebody said, I smell smoke. And 2 seconds later, they had us all outside. Like, you just never know what could happen. And things like that don't happen as much as, I mean, it's a deli, so we obviously have food there. I think it was in the electrical room, which we go into frequently enough, but like it's closed off. You can't really smell anything. But somebody happened to say, I smell smoke. It was a customer. And then we had a fire. So they had to go in there and get us out of there.
I had a thing recently where I was out back with my husband. I don't know what we were doing. I think we were trying to clean up the patio for the winter or something like that. And I kept getting this whiff of gas. It was faint, but I also have a very sensitive sense of smell, except when I'm clogged up like I am. And it was like every so often, and I said to my husband, I was like, do you smell that gas? He's like, no. I was like, I smell gas. Like, or maybe it's my imagination. I don't know. It's a little weird. And he called the gas company. They came out and checked our meter and gas lines. There was nothing there. And then they went next door. But the guy was smelling it too. Every so often while I was back there working in our yard. And so he went next door and the neighbor had a leak.
Oh.
That's why I could smell it. But if I hadn't paid attention to that, if I hadn't caught the whiff of that and like spoke up about it, it might have been a problem for them. Something could have caught on fire.
Yeah.
Could have been a gas explosion.
Yeah. And what if you had basically talked yourself out of it? Like, it's nothing, or it's my imagination, or
Yeah, because even if you smell smoke frequently enough or something like that, you just never know. It's worth looking into.
I've learned from my martial arts training to trust my senses and not question them. Like if something seems off, I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong because I'd rather be wrong
and safe
than right.
Right.
Hurt or worse. Yes, we can be trained.
We can be taught.
We can be taught.
Steph has been trying to teach us that, and she would start the phrase, and we would be like,
and they're like,
it's true.
It was especially bad, like during a self-defense class where she's looking at us like, because as we always say, and she looks at us, and we're like,
yeah. And my other favorite one is, if you're gonna hit somebody,
make it count.
Better. You guys always forget the better.
Better make it count.
Better
right,
make it
I'm gonna
count.
write that down. Here's my pencil. Better. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we always work on making sure that if we're going to hit, especially as women, for if we need to hit somebody, and hopefully we never do.
Right.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do it, we're going to do
Make
it.
it
So
count.
make it hurts and it makes them stop.
Now that's another level of being prepared, like, being out. And so here's something I used to like to do. And it's probably not the best thing in the world when you're in a college class. You start to zone out. You start to create scenarios in your mind. But I would create scenarios because I was a commuter. So I had like a half an hour drive, and the commuter parking lot was pretty far from most of the buildings. So I would think about, okay, first of all, I have to take a well-lit path, and then I have to watch the bushes. And if somebody comes out, my strategy at the time, because I had zero training, but I was kind of feisty, was I'm going to scream and I'm going to pretend I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And
that's
that
a
was
good
my
one.
strategy. And then at some point during this rumination, I would usually get called on. So, Evelyn, what do you think about that? Oh, what class am I in again? But
What were we talking about?
and then again, it was a fun game though, because and I had some nighttime classes. I look back now, I should have had a buddy with me. Okay, here's something I would have done differently. But I would sing quietly, and I would check the bushes as I was walking past, and
Yeah. Did they have a security you could have called if you felt like you couldn't do it? Did they have people that you could have asked for?
I imagine there probably was. And I do remember, though, there was this one class where there was another guy. I had actually known him from high school, and he happened to be in the same class as me. And he and I were talking, and he was like, "You're a commuter too?" "Me too," So after the class, he and I would walk down to our car together.
Oh, that's
But,
good.
in hindsight now, as a 50-something-year-old woman who isn't, in fact, invincible, going back and talking to my younger self, Evelyn, make sure if nobody in your class is going to walk down there, get a security guy. I'm sure they would have, find out where that is. Who can you contact, explain the situation.
Right.
And,
And I know around here, university has their own police. Newark has their own police. They're pretty close by. And they have like these telephone boxes with a blue light that you can activate and call for help on.
Yeah.
So that's something at least.
I think we had those because I remember making note of those.
Yeah.
And thinking there again in the middle of class. Let's see. If I was walking that way, where would the phone box be?
That's funny. We're trying to shout out. It's been about 35 or so minutes, so it's probably time to wrap up anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna go digest my food.
It's important.
I have a lot of food to digest. I mean, it feels like a lot. There was soup involved, so it always feels like a lot with soup.
If there was soup involved, it's a lot.
Actually, it's funny. I had soup for dinner, so
oh, nice.
I guess I'll go digest my soup since there was soup involved,
and
digest the talk we just had.
Okay.
What do they call it? What do the Zoomers call this phase?
I don't know.
What is this phase? It has a name.
I don't know. Poggers?
Poggers.
Do they even still say that? My son's so funny because I'll pull out a Gen Z phrase from like 2 years ago, and he just looks at me like, "Okay, Mom."
That reminds me. There's a group on, I don't know what platform, but I saw it on Facebook, and they were singing a song, and they were using all the Gen Z phrases, including "skibbity toilet." And I showed it to my son, and he's like, like he wouldn't come out and laugh at it, but he was sort of like half amused.
Yes, I love it. I love it when we can. So Steph's son and mine are almost the same age. Her son is slightly older, and to get that little twinkle, they're like trying not to laugh, but you can tell that they're amused. That's a win.
He's too cool to be amused. Yesterday.
Sometimes Ronnie will say, "That was pretty funny, Mom." Yes.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
See
Au
you
revoir.
guys. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks so much for joining us as we discussed such an important topic. We hope you got some food for thought and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. See you later, Bear Club.